two brief questions, if I may. First of all, what happened to Top Rock? It seems to me that every time I see a video of a performance, whether it be Red Bull World or whatever it may happen to be, it's either gymnastics or they hit the floor. There's no, what happened to Top Rock? And then secondarily, to your point about commodification of hip hop, I mean, I totally feel you on that. But when I grew up, I mean, I danced as everybody else danced. Everywhere you went, somebody, when you were outside, people were dancing. People were playing basketball, and they were dancing, but you didn't really have much of a choice. You know what I mean? And when it went from being, and then also everybody did graffiti. Same in a similar way though. There were people who did well, there were people who were average, and there were people who sucked. But nevertheless, it was just something that you did. And when it kind of goes into the studio, it seems like it loses some of that. It doesn't seem like it's as accessible. And I would probably say the same thing about hip hop in general, or MCing in general, in that when cats don't battle anymore. That's kind of why, our music sounds like it does right now. There's really no accessibility, there's really no trying out and investing your skills publicly. You just kind of show up with a record deal. I was just wondering your thoughts.
I think that's I agree on both points. And it's a very serious conversation that people are having. People are dancing about it. People are even fighting about it. I mean, this idea about authenticity and the idea that there is no such thing, that everybody has their, it's just whatever feels good, it kind of diminishes the craft. I mean, to your first question about rockin' and top rockin', like there's a huge revival of that art form right now, and it kind of lost its fervor because, before B-boys hit the ground, they were doing something else, and they were rocking. So the argument now is that it's an essential part of what B-boying is, and it's a part of the story. So what's really cool is that a lot of the old school guys are coming back and they're teaching, So now you have crews that do just rocking, and they're going to all the guys who are doing styles, footwork, and power moves and saying, hey, look, this is part of the story. So if you want to be a well-rounded B-boy, you have to put this in your set. And as far as the art forms making it into the studios, that's a very simple thing, and I'm going to try to wrap it up real quick. So what happens is when people sometimes go to school and get their bachelor's in fine art and dance, and they find that there's not a lot of work, they get a little bit desperate. So what they do is they take their modern and their jazz background, they put on an R&B song, and they do what they do best, and they say it's hip-hop. So that happens a lot. Now, is that the type of example that you want to set? When that goes back to the dance education thing. You know what you know. And the best way to learn hip-hop culture is to spend time in those communities. And I think that idea transcends outside of hip-hop. You look at rock and roll and see where rock and roll music comes from. And the most successful artists, historically, have been the artists that stayed connected to those communities that inspired them. Okay? The artists who decide that they were too good for the communities that inspired them ended up overweight and OD'd. Okay? So I'm going to leave that at that. But that's a very solid truth about staying connected to the communities that inspired you. That's the most basic definition of authenticity. So it's a very common argument, and a lot of people are working hard for it, because the idea in hip-hop is no matter where you're from, that you can be a part of this thing, just sign the guest book,
Maybe last question after